Okay, so can't believe it's already been a week. It's time for another Love What Matters podcast. I'm Amy from The Bobby Bone Show, and I'm excited to bring you these feel-good stories because that's what Love What Matters is all about. I mean, I turn on the news and it's like negative, negative, negative. So you've got to have somewhere to go for the positive, the feel-good stories. And that's what we do here. People just like you are sharing their feel-good stories with us. And then we share them with you on the podcast. So the first story that I'm going to get into today is so cute. It's about a little girl helping a homeless man. And then also I'm going to talk about a guy that helped this woman on an airplane. I mean, I don't even know that I would offer to do this, but I mean, he's, super nice. And then odd new friends. Like, I can't believe that these people are now friends, and I'm kind of jealous. I might need to find one of these friends for myself. And then we have an interview today with a mom who she's got a 6-year-old son. He deals with some difficult things, but something really cool happened to him, and she's going to talk to us about that. And obviously, I need to say a big thank you to Episole because this podcast would not be possible without them. And they offer professional grade, completely personalized hair color that's created just for you. Like, it's super cool because I know sometimes maybe you're in between coloring. Maybe you get it done professionally, but you've got some gray hairs that pop up. Well, you can use it during that time. Or maybe you like to color your hair from home, but you want to, step up your game a little bit. Well, Episole is perfect for you, and you can check them out, esalon.com.
Yeah. Don't you want to spread a little love in the world today?
Okay, this first story I love. I mean, have you ever been, inspired by someone that's 6 years old and you're like, when I grow up, I want to be the 6-year-old? Because that was me after I read this story. And the 6-year-old's mom posted the story to our Facebook page. So that way the whole world would then be inspired. And if I was this mom, I would be out like bragging about my kid too. So as a mom, Kenyatta Lewis, she was leaving the grocery store with her daughter and she saw all of this go down. They were walking to the store and noticed a man who was crying. He was sitting outside. And so the little 6-year-old approached the man and said, "Hey, sir, be happy. It's a nice day. It's not raining." Then the man said that he didn't have a home. So then she said, "Wait, so that means you're homeless? So you have no food because you have no refrigerator?" And then she opened up her little purse. The 6-year-old had a cute little purse on her, and she opened it up and she pulled out a few dollars, which, hello, if you're 6 years old, like that's probably like your allowance for like the month or something, if you even get allowance at 6. But anyway, she pulled out a few dollars of her own. And then she also gave him her drink and said, "Please go eat. It would make me happy." And then wait for it. She goes, "I like McDonald's. You should go there." It's just the sweetest story ever. So obviously her mom, Kenyatta, is loving this story. I know if this was my little girl, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I raised you right. So this made the mom's day. It made his day, warmed everybody's hearts. And now we know about the story and we're all going to have a better day. And you know what? I bet we're probably going to treat people a little bit differently if we see like a homeless person outside of a store today or this week, right? Because sometimes I'm like honestly too busy and I just put my head down on a power walk. I'm like, I don't have any change. I don't have any change. But now I'm going to think of this 6-year-old little girl and I'm going to go get change and I'm going to give it to him or her. Okay? That's what we should all do.
Yeah, don't you want to spread a little love in the world today?
So for this second story, it's pretty awesome because I love when strangers help people, especially if you're on an airplane and you might be annoyed because there's a screaming toddler and you may just be like trying to put your headphones in or a pillow over your ears. But no, this man decided to do something about it. There was a pregnant woman on a flight with her toddler and she obviously couldn't get him to calm down and she's needs rest. There's nowhere else she can go. I'm sure she feels bad. But this man decided to get up and go over to her and say, "Hey, I'm a father. I want to help you so that you can rest. Do you mind if I, take your kid and walk them up and down the aisle?" And of course, I mean, I'm sure she contemplated it for a bit. But when you're 30,000 feet up in the air, you're like, yeah, you're not going anywhere. Okay, fine. I'll give you my kid. I'm a little desperate. Well, a woman, Angela Bird, she witnessed this entire thing go down and she posted about it because she just was this whole moment witnessing it, it brought tears to her eyes because it showed her that there are still good people in the world and a world full of negativity. She saw this go down and she decided to share it. And I'm so glad she did because it's just awesome that this guy I mean, maybe he had work to do. A lot of times when you're flying, you either sleep or work. But he decided to get up and help this pregnant woman so that she could rest. And then he calmed the child down, which, hello, I'm sure everybody else on the flight was like super excited that he decided to do that as well, because nobody wants a screaming baby on their flight. Although I think we should always be understanding towards screaming babies. It's not the parents' fault.
Yeah, don't you want to spread a little love in the world today?
Okay, so how do you know a hair color is absolutely perfect for you? Well, you got to check out Esalon, where they offer professional grade, completely personalized hair color created just for you, and it's delivered right to your door. So with Esalon, this is pretty cool. You just fill out a questionnaire, then you upload your photo, and your personal colorist is going to formulate your color from over 15,000 pigments. Your unique Esalon color then gets delivered to your door with your name on the bottle, sort of special, and instructions on how to get the hair the way you want it. If you've got questions, the color experts at Esalon, they're just a call away. Seriously, it couldn't be any easier. I mean, maybe you've got a colorist you love to go to, but you could use Esalon for your in-betweens, or you could save money by doing it at home. Visit esalon.com/love now. New customers are going to receive 50% off their first box. That's just $10 for your personalized hair color. Get 50% off your first box at esalon.com/love right now. That's esalon.com/love. Okay, so we got one more story before we get to our interview with a mom that has a super cool story about something that happened to her 6-year-old that'll definitely leave you like thinking, okay, kids are awesome. Let's talk about making new friends. And I mean, I like making friends in different places. Like seriously, legit, no lie. One of my best friends, I met her on Twitter. I really did. Like it can happen, people. And I mean, we probably talked on Twitter for like, I don't know, a couple years before I met her in person for the first time. And our first time meeting was like taking a trip to Haiti together. So yeah, I left the country with a person that I met on Twitter. But this story is about a 28-year-old named Gemma who was waiting for the bus. So yeah, she met a friend waiting for a bus. But she met a friend named Edna, who was 91 years old. Yeah, Edna had recently lost her husband of 55 years. And she started talking about how lonely she'd been lately. And so obviously Jenna was like, oh, this is breaking my heart. Like this cute little old lady, she's all alone with nobody to talk to. I've got to get her number. So Gemma, again, 28 years old, got the 91-year-old Edna's phone number. Yeah. Also that she could like hang out with her and have a cup of tea. Okay. So if you do the math, that's a 63-year age difference, I think. And I mean, they're not letting it affect them. They're already hanging out. They're like, I mean, honestly, now I kind of need to make friends with, I've got a Twitter friend, check. I need a 91-year-old friend, check. I mean, could you imagine like the life lessons you can learn from someone that is 63 years older than you? This is pretty cute. I mean, always talk to strangers at a bus stop if they're cute 91-year-old people named Edna, because they might be your new best friend.
Yeah, don't you want to spread a little love in the world today?
Okay, so now for one of the best parts of the podcast, the interview part, where we actually get to talk to someone that posted something on the Love What Matters Facebook page. And today we've got on Madeline Schmidt. Hey, Madeline.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Did you ever think when you posted something that you'd be, next thing you know, on a podcast getting interviewed about it?
No, I had no idea. I knew the story had inspired so many of my friends and family, and that kind of motivated me to post it. I wanted to help others kind of see the joy that we found with this story, but I had no idea.
Okay, so for those of you listening, Madeline posted a story about her 6-year-old son, Grant. And Madeline, I'm going to kind of let you share what you shared on Facebook so that people can know your story and why you felt the need to post it and inspire others.
So my son is 6 years old, and he was born with a large birthmark on his face. It's called a port wine stain.
Okay, so what exactly is a port wine birthmark?
So a port wine stain is just a birthmark that hits one out of several thousand babies. There's no known cause. It's just kind of what happens. And it's essentially a bunch of extra blood vessels close to the skin, which is why it gives it that red color. And in some cases, depending on how deep it goes, it could definitely cause some challenges and developmental issues and so forth. Fortunately for Grant, that's not the case. It's just purely cosmetic at this point. It's just one of those things that he'll have for the rest of his life.
Just to kind of give a descriptive for those listening, it is like a purplish reddish spot around his eye.
I mean, even from the day he was born in the hospital, I experienced what we were going to experience from even those in the medical community. We had a cafeteria worker in the hospital had brought me my meal, and she peeked her head in the little bassinet where he was. You know, he's only a few hours old, and rather than looking at him and saying, "Oh, what a cute baby," her first reaction was, "Wow, that's a birthmark."
Oh.
And that was a good taste of what I was the insensitive comments that I was going to experience, and, you know, eventually he was going to experience. The birthmark, he does not care. It's part of him. It's like his leg, his arm.
Yeah, and then he had a little experience in the bathroom. I guess he got a hall pass to use the restroom, and he ran into a kid there, and I'm sure this kid was curious about his birthmark as well and said something, but this is where it gets really special, right?
Yeah, it was great because he came home from school that day, and he was so excited, and he said, "Mommy," he's like, "someone said something nice about my birthmark," and he just had the biggest smile about his face, and I was just beaming just hearing that. It's one thing for you know, most of his friends are neutral about it, but he has someone say something nice, and so I tried to pull it out of him, being 6 years old, right, of what exactly happened, and what had happened was he had to go to the bathroom during the class, and so he got his little hallway pass and went to the bathroom, and there was another kid in there, and it kind of starts off like it always does. The kid said, "What's on your face?" And, that immediately triggers Grant of this, "Oh, here I go again. I got to explain myself." And so it started off kind of like every other story. And then this kid, Tucker, he said, "Oh, wow." And he said, "Do you get hurt feelings by it? Do people say things that give you hurt feelings about it?" And Grant was just, kind of, no one's ever asked him that question. He said, "Yeah, actually I do." And Tucker said, "Well, you know what? I think it's really cool. Stick up for yourself, kid." And then he left, and he walked away, and Grant just was like, wow.
And so this is a peer, like this is someone his age.
Yeah, so he's 1 grade older. He was in, Grant was in kindergarten, and this kid, Tucker, which we didn't know at the time who he was. We had quite the adventure trying to figure out who he was. So I just had to talk to him.
You're like, who was the angel in the bathroom that made my kid so happy?
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. And he was only 1 year older. He was in 1st grade. And it's funny because I chatted, we've gotten to know his parents now, and they just chuckle because the mother said that his father says this to Tucker all the time. "Stick up for yourself, kid," because he's introverted. He's got his own challenges. He's been picked on before, so he knows what that feels like.
Yeah.
And so he was taking the messages and learnings that his parents gave him and passing that along to Grant.
I think for sure that this is something Grant will never forget. It's one of those things where it's like, when you're 30, 40, maybe even 50 years old, like he'll remember that bathroom experience for sure. And remember Tucker, and then you sharing the story and putting that out there. And now the story has wings. It kind of is now inspiring others, maybe for parents to make sure that they say things to their kids that are going to encourage them, like, stick up for yourself, kid, because then your kid may pass it along to another kid, and then a mom may post about it because it made her kid's day, and then now we're all inspired by it. And there is hope that, sometimes you hear how kids can just be so nasty and negative to each other because they're kids and they kind of poke at each other and make fun. But this is a story where it's like, oh, okay, wow, like, no, kids are awesome.
That's exactly why I wanted to post it, because it did, when I first posted on my personal Facebook page, it was just amazing to see the response from our friends and family. And, they were saying, "Oh my gosh, you need to get this in the news outlets because, all we hear is negative stuff in the news. You need to write a children's book," and all this stuff. I was like, gosh, I don't know how to do that. I don't even know what the right forum is. And then I discovered Love What Matters, and that seemed like the perfect forum. I had people responding there, teachers saying they were going to read this story to their kids on the first day of school.
Oh, that's
Parents
awesome.
saying that they were sharing this with their kids. Like, it's just, I love that, Tucker's kindness and empathy is teaching others. And it's amazing.
Well, I'm glad you decided to post to Love What Matters, and it is a great outlet for positive stories. So thanks for doing that. And if you do end up doing some sort of children's book, I could see something with that. You let us know, because we want to get our hands on it.
I will.
Yeah, don't you want to spread a little love in the world today?